Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing another book haul for you guys. So I have 28 books to show you guys. That's a lot. I do want to come out on the premise and say 99.9% of the books I buy secondhand. So whether I'm buying them off of my library sales or I'm buying them from Goodwill or Savers, I almost never buy books that are brand new, with the exception of the books that I got from the Barnes & Noble's book haul event. I very rarely go and buy brand new books because there's so many books out there that I want to read. And, you know, why get them more expensive when you can get them cheaper? So my number one place to go to is Goodwill, because that's where I can get, so first I go to the library because I can get my books the cheapest at the library sales. Let me take down my hair now that I've finished my skincare. My library sales, it's 50 cents for a soft cover and $1 for a hardcover. So it's definitely the cheapest there. But after that, I go to Goodwill because it's also really cheap there. I try not to buy anything over, I try not to buy anything over $2 at Goodwill, but occasionally I find a book that I really, really want that's like $3 to $5, but you know, for sure everything in this haul was $1 to $2. And I think that's a good way to do it because there's less waste that way when it comes to paper and stuff, because you're buying books that have already been bought and used and loved and passed on. And yeah, so let's just hop right into it. And that also explains why some of these books are not necessarily in the greatest condition, but hey, they were $1. So the first book I got is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. As you guys well know, I do have this in a leather-bound hardcover edition. So you're probably wondering why I got one in a paperback edition. First off, I prefer paperbacks. Fun fact about me, I prefer paperbacks to hardcover. But To Kill a Mockingbird is one of my favorite books of all time. Now, when I'm reading, I always carry my books in my purse. First off, this book is huge. Like, look at it compared to my face. It's huge. Now look at it compared to this book. Also, I have read this copy so many times already that while the spine's not broken, I can feel it loosening. And I want to try to preserve my book as much as I can. So I decided to get a paperback copy for when I am on the go and I am reading. This is just the mass market paperback that like all the different schools get and stuff like that. So I thought when I saw it at Goodwill for $1, I was like, yes, I need it in my life. Now if only Goodwill will get 1984 in soon, that would be great. If you don't know anything about To Kill a Mockingbird, it is from the storyline of the daughter Scout. Her father is a lawyer and is trying to defend a black man that has been accused of raping a white woman. And it kind of goes from there. You just really need to read it. All right. Next book I got is P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. This has been made into a movie adaptation. Basically, it is about Holly and Jerry. They are a married couple, and at the age of 30, Jerry is diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he ends up passing away. And Holly is obviously devastated. But months after Jerry's death, Holly starts receiving letters from him that he wrote to her before he passed away. Well, basically it's one big package with a ton of letters in it. And like he wrote on them, read when you're missing me, read when this, that, and the other thing. So definitely excited to read this. I've never seen the movie and I've never read the book. How long is this? It's 500 pages long, so I'm excited to read this, but yeah, very excited. And I love that I got the edition with the actors on it. I'm a little weird, I prefer that, but I know some people don't, but I kind of do. Next book I have is from Nicholas Sparks. As you guys know, Nicholas Sparks is one of my favorite authors, and this is the book Safe Haven, which has also been put into a movie adaptation. This is about a young woman named Katie who moves to a small town in North Carolina called Southport, and she is keeping her life before North Carolina kind of secret, and then she meets someone and she has to choose between keeping the secret and being safe and having nobody know and knowing that she's comfortable with that, or telling the person that she's in love with what happened, her past life, and, risking him leaving her. At least that's the way I understood it. Nicholas Sparks is really good at love stories. He's really good at getting the female aspect into it, which I feel like a lot of male writers don't really do good on. Nicholas Sparks is someone I always turn back to whenever I'm in a reading slump, so very happy I have some more of his work in my collection. Another book I got is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. This has also been made into a major motion picture. I have seen the movie, and again, I love that I have the book that has the actors from the movie on it. Like, can you tell that's a favorite of mine? Like, if I don't have it, that's fine, but if it's available and I can get it, duh. I've heard the ending of the movie is very different from the ending of the book. Basically, this girl right here, her name is Anna, and this girl right here, her name is Kate. Kate has cancer, and their mom and their dad basically conceived Anna to be a bone marrow match for Kate, and all throughout her life, she has been pretty much forced to do any medical treatment that the doctors wanted to do for Kate, basically since the day she was born, and she wants to stop. And, gets a lawyer involved and all that fun jazz because she is not 18 yet. So I heard the ending is quite different in the movie than it is from the book. So I can't wait to actually read this and see how Jodi Picoult truly wanted the book to be and how the movie kind of ruined that. Another Nicholas Sparks book is The Last Song. This was the one with Miley Cyrus and her husband. This was such a good movie, and I'm really hoping they stuck to the way the book is, because that would be so disappointing if they didn't. Basically, Ronnie, which is Miley's character, goes to visit her dad for the summer, and after her parents' divorce, and this is the first time her dad has ever tried like connecting with them since the divorce. So Ronnie's like, I don't want to be here. And she ends up meeting, what do they call her? Will. That's what I thought. But she ends up meeting Will and falling in love, and then something happens with her dad, and the whole summer just kind of changes her life. So I'm really excited to read the book. Again, Nicholas Sparks is one of my favorite authors. My favorite authors are Harper Lee, George Orwell, Nicholas Sparks, and Jodi Picoult. So good. The next book I have is Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. This book is not in as good of condition as some of the other books that I have gotten on this trip to Goodwill. My hair is like not wanting to cooperate. It's annoying me. I don't know what to do. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it down. Anyway, this is about Anne Frank and during the World War II, and basically how her family goes into hiding because they are a Jewish family, and, you know, Hitler was putting Jewish families into concentration camps and killing them, and a family decides to hide out Anne Frank's family, and this is basically her story of what happens during the time that she is in the attic of the family that's hiding her. And it's literally her diary. I'm not positive if Anne Frank's based on a true story. I want to say it is, but don't quote me on that. But it is written like as a diary format. So that's kind of why I want to say it is, but I'm not 100% positive. I didn't learn much about Anne Frank in school. I did learn a lot about World War II. I actually have a book here called Unexplained Mysteries of World War II that I do want to read as well. So I'm very, very excited to give that a whirl. The next book I picked up is Skeleton Crew by Stephen King. I have absolutely no idea what this is about. But I want to read more Stephen King. I have read The Shining by Stephen King, and it was a really good writing, but I just wish there was more horror aspect to it, so I'm hoping that that's what The Skeleton Crew will give me. But I did find out that there is a sequel to The Shining called Dr. Sleep. I want to get my hands on that, because maybe that will give me more of what I'm looking for. But you know, my friends Crystal and Chris, they're obsessed with Stephen King, so I definitely want to read more Stephen King books. That's Stephen King right there, and I'm very, very excited to give this a shot. What is my hair doing? Like, I don't get it. The next book I have is Cut by Patricia McCormick. It is about a girl who cuts herself. It's never too deep, never enough to kill herself, but just enough to want to get rid of the pain that she is feeling. I have heard that this is kind of a triggering book, but it's not that long. It's only like 150 pages, but at the same time, that typing is really big. But she ends up going to a facility that's trying to help her, and yeah. So this is Patricia McCormick's first novel, and I'm excited to see whether or not she really, what's the word I'm looking for? On whether or not she really does this topic well. I am a person that has been diagnosed with depression. I have cut in the past, so this book may be really triggering for me, but on the back it does say she spent 3 years researching for this book, and where it's so tiny, it makes me wonder how much knowledge she actually put in here, so we will have to wait and see on that. Next book I have is The Life of Pi. This is the winner of the Man Booker Prize. Never even heard of that. But this is the story about Pi Patel. He is the son of a zookeeper, so he owns a zoo with his parents, and his family is trying to move to North America, and their boat sinks, so all that's left is him and his tiger. And this is basically the story of what Pi does to keep them alive while they're trying to get to land. As you can see, they're like in a boat. There's sharks all around them. I love this cover. So I'm very excited to read this. It's really all I know about that one. Next is Holes by Lois Sakar. This has been made into a movie. I absolutely love the movie. It's Shia LaBeouf from Even Stevens and Transformers and all that fun jazz. And basically, he is accused of doing something he didn't do. So instead of going off to jail or off to juvie, he is sent to this camp where they dig holes to find, like, stuff. And it's just so good. It was such a good movie. I wanted to read the book. I don't really remember much of the movie, so this is going to basically be relearning everything. But I'm excited. The next book I have is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I haven't heard much about this book. I do know Carry On is coming, Carry On sequel Wayward Son is coming out this year. Rainbow Rowell is right there. And it's basically about this boy named Simon Snow. He's the chosen one who pretty much sucks at being the chosen one. And he learned his life is kind of falling apart. His mentor won't see him. His girlfriend broke up with him. His frenemy decided not to come back to school or whatever. And, you know, there's a magic eating monster running around with Simon's face on it. So I'm actually really excited about this. I have heard mixed reviews on Rainbow Rowell's books, so we'll have to wait and see. All right, I'm putting my hair back up because this is just that. I'm getting it off. Sorry, my hair was really bugging me, so I just put it back up. I love the cover of this though. Like, look how beautiful that is. This was actually less than $1. This was only like 90 cents or something like that. So, and by the looks of it, it's in the same context that, where is it? The Things We Do for Love by Kristen Hanna is, where one chapter is one character's point of view and the next chapter is another character's point of view. So this looks like it's going between Simon and Boz and Agatha and Penelope. Those are the only names I'm seeing. So I'm very intrigued to see how this story plays out. I love stories like that. This is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I have heard so many people recommend this book on BookTube. It is about a girl named Elisa Menninger. When her life is changed when she finds a book in the snow called The Gravedigger's Handbook. Left there by accident at her brother's funeral, and she starts stealing books, basically. I believe this is a dystopian universe where books are illegal. So I can't wait, honestly. I've heard really good things about this book. And, like, they have, like, I'm very excited. I heard it's really, really, really a good book, and a really good book to get people out of reading slumps. So, excited. Next book is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. As you can see, this is not in great shape, but again, what more can you ask for a book that was secondhand and only $1? Also made into a movie. I'm sure everyone has seen it at this point. I've seen The Hunger Games and the second and third one. I haven't seen the second part of the third one, I want to say. So there's Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. I've seen Hunger Games, I've seen Catching Fire, and I want to say I've seen the first half of Mockingjay, but not the second half. Basically, it is about this dystopian society where in order to keep everyone at peace and in order to keep population under control. There are 12 different districts. There we go. There are 12 districts, and then there's the capital, and the capital holds this contest called the Hunger Games every year, where there is one boy and one girl picked from each district, and they basically fight everyone till the death, and there is one winner. And this starts out with Katniss Everdeen's sister, Katniss Everdeen being the main character. She is from District 12. Her sister gets called for the Hunger Games, and she starts freaking out and volunteers as tribute so her sister does not die. So I'm excited to see how the movie did with the book, seeing how truthful it is and all that. So the next book I have is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I cannot find a synopsis anywhere, but I've heard really good things. So, and it was a San Francisco Chronicle Best Book of the Year winner. So, yeah. Can't wait to read it. Not much I can say about it where I can't find a synopsis about it anywhere. The next book I bought is Vanishing Acts by Jodi Picoult. Again, I love Jodi Picoult. It is about a girl named Delia Hopkins who lived in New Hampshire. And she was raised by a widowed father. She now has a daughter of herself. She's engaged, and she has a bloodhound, which she uses at her job to find for search and rescues. But as she's planning her wedding, she's getting flashbacks to a life she doesn't remember, and then a cop knocks on her door and unveils this whole secret about her. So, yeah. I'm really excited to read this. I kind of have a feeling that Delia was kidnapped by her father. I don't know. That's just kind of the feeling I'm getting. But I'm very excited to read this book. Jodi Picoult has yet to fail me on a book, okay? Which leads me to why I bought another Jodi Picoult book, and it's called Sing You Home. This book is about Zoe, and after a bunch of personal tragedies happen, she throws herself into a music therapy career, and she develops a friendship from her career, and it blossoms into love, and the story kind of just goes from there. I'm very excited to read this. I love Jodi Picoult. Can you tell that I love Jodi Picoult yet? So very, very excited to read that. Next book I got is yet another Nicholas Sparks. This is called The Guardian. I actually forget what this is about. Julie Berenson's young husband left her 2 unexpected gifts before he died, a puppy named Singer and the promise that he would always be watching over her. Now 4 years later, 29-year-old Julie is far too young to have given up on love. She may be ready to risk caring for someone again. But who? Should it be Richard Franklin, the sophisticated, handsome engineer who treats her like a queen, or Mike Harris, the down-to-earth nice guy who was her husband's best friend? Choosing one of them should bring her more happiness than she's had in years. Instead, Julie is soon fighting for her life in a nightmare spawned by a chilling deception and jealousy so poisonous that it has become a murderous desire. Ooh! I'm excited. Okay. Can you blame me? Can you blame me? So, really excited to read that. The next book I have is Deception Point by Dan Brown. This is about when NASA discovers an astonishingly rare object buried deep in the Arctic ice. And yeah. And they call upon intelligent analyst Rachel Sexton, who is the main character. And then, as you can see, whoever had this book kind of destroyed the synopsis, so I can't really go anything off of that, but I thought that just the few sentences I got before the synopsis was destroyed actually sounded really interesting. So definitely cannot wait to dig my hands into that. I'm going to show one book first, and then I'm going to show you the next one. I got The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I know everyone's heard about this by now, but Robert Langdon receives an urgent late night call about a guy who has been murdered in a museum that he works at, and what was his name? Langdon? Robert Langdon, yep. Goes out and tries to figure out who murdered this guy, and it ends up finding a bunch of clues, hidden clues, in the works of Da Vinci. So, really excited about that. And then I got, it is a quartet. I've still yet to find the second book, but Angels and Demons is the third book in that series. And he is summoned to, Robert Langdon is now summoned to identify a mysterious, like, symbol on a dead man that has been burned into a dead man's chest. And I cannot wait. And this is not a mass market. This is a floppy book, and I love it. By the looks of it, this is the UK edition, since that's the only price given. And it's just a beautiful cover. So I'm excited to read that as well. Next book I got is the first book in the Mortal Instrument series. It is called City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I don't know a lot about this, but I have heard great things. It is when Clary Frey heads out to the Pandemonium Club in New York City. She hardly expects to witness a murder, much less a murder committed by 3 teenagers covered with odd markings. This is Clary's first meeting with the Shadow Hunters, warriors dedicated to ridding the earth of demons and keeping the odd werewolves and vampires in line. So that just sounds really interesting. Cassandra Clare has the Mortal Instrument series, then she has the Shadow Hunter series. She has like multiple series that all go into this world. So I really can't wait to dive into this. I've heard a lot of good things about Cassandra Clare books, and I have gotten the 3rd and 4th book in the series. I'm still looking for the second one. And I want to make sure I have the second one before I start reading them. But, I mean, worst comes to worst, I do have the library. So, I got the Ink Heart trilogy. So, Ink Heart, Ink Spell, and Ink Death. This is basically about a boy who, books come to life. Literally come to life. Let me put all these down. Literally come to life in his bedroom, and he gets to hang out with them, basically. And they have to learn about the magic that goes in the book, and I'm so excited to read this trilogy. I have heard nothing but good things. I know this is more of like a children's book, but like YOLO, read whatever you want. So very excited to read this. Now, I did get Twilight, New Moon, and Breaking Dawn on this trip. In a later book haul, you will see that I did find Eclipse as well, but at this point, I did not find it. And I'm really excited to reread this quartet because I went through this thing when this came out, when this series came out, where I loved the books everybody else loved, and I hated the books that everybody else hated. So Twilight, it was one of those series where I loved it when everybody loved it, and I hated it when everybody hated it. And I don't think that is fair to the series, so I want to reread it and actually find out what my true feelings of this book are. And the last book I got from this haul is another Stephenie Meyer book. It is called The Host. I know absolutely nothing about this. Absolutely nothing. But I'm very excited to read it because I have heard good things about it. This one did not come with a dust cover or a pretty cover or nothing. This is just what I got to show you. So that is all the books that I have gotten in this book haul. I am very excited that I was able to get 28 books for roughly $28. I think that is a really, really good steal. And yeah, I'm excited to read all of them. All of them. Especially rereading the Twilight series. So yeah, that will be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.